Okay, so I think we're in a pretty good place with the simulator. I'm just going to check that the sound is coming through okay. Yes, you can hear me. That's the main thing, and you can also hear the simulator, and I've turned it down a bit because we don't want it to be too loud in the sim. Okay, so we are on the ground at Gatwick in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, and we're going to fly to Blagnac in France. It's a night flight, and we are going to be flying the mighty A380. So this is going to be a fun one. Let me just stop my own sound from coming out of my own speakers. Okay, so the main aim of tonight isn't actually the aeroplane in front of us. It's going to be to show you VirtualFlight.Online. So, what is VirtualFlight.Online? If we go to airline.virtualflight.online, you will see there is this fancy looking website with an airline in it. I have covered it in the past once or twice, but we're going to do a full flight in it. So we're going to go over, I'm already logged in as myself, so we're going to go to the free flight option, and we're going to say where we're going from and to. So we're going to choose our airline first, so we're going to go VirtualFlight.Online World. We'll choose our call sign for the evening, 073. So we're just making up a flight number there and a call sign. So this is how you can do a free flight. So we can say we want to go from EGKK, and if you go and have a quick look on the map, we're going to Blagnac, so LFBO. LFBO. And we are going to do, what shall we call the flight? It's a positioning or a technical test flight, let's say that. And we're going to do the 38. It's the A380, isn't it? So we want the virtual flight. So this is picking the aircraft, the A388. So we're going to update that and proceed to flight planning. So this has got an old flight from earlier in the evening when I was showing somebody it. So we're going to delete that PIREP, the operational flight plan, and generate a new one. So we just wait for it to do it. So it goes around in a circle. So there we go, it's got the basic details of the flight, and obviously we can change lots of the parameters if we so wish. If the key thing here is if we leave the route blank, we can come down and we can send this via Simbrief. And it will refresh again, and there we go, we've got the preview of the Simbrief flight plan for our aeroplane for tonight's flight, and there's the routing information. So if we scroll down, we can then see the winds aloft charts for the route, for the forecast, and we can also see the live weather at the departure and the destination airports. And then if we look down further down, we can see all of the takeoff calculations for the various runways at Gatwick and the landing calculations for the runways at Blagnac. So what's the point of all of this? So this is obviously very similar to Simbrief so far. Oh, by the way, we can also open SkyVector and go and look at our routing. So there's our routing across Europe. And we could pre-file with IVAO or VATSIM automatically straight from here if we wish to. But what we're going to do is open ACARS. So by the way, this has already gone to Simbrief. So Simbrief has the flight plan. So if we then go ACARS, this will open the ACARS class. So this is going to track us in the simulator. So you can see it has loaded the flight plan. So then if we just make this a bit wider, we can come in here and just say start the flight. So at this point it's kind of connecting like a black box to the aeroplane. It knows where we are and it knows the state of the aeroplane. Look, started boarding. So we're going to minimize ACARS and leave it for the moment. So that's our job done as far as ACARS is concerned. Now remember what I said, it's already gone to ACARS. So at the moment we've just got a point to point in LittleNavMap. So if we go open flight plan from Simbrief and it will get the most recent one. So create the flight plan. Don't save that one. And there's our routing. Okay, we can do the same trick with Navigraph. So you can see there's a previous route that I had. So if I import from Simbrief, and there's our route. Okay, so we'll just put those out of the way for the moment. The final piece of the puzzle, we're going to involve, say, intentions. So this is an all-up test this evening of including everything. So we're going to go identity in here, and we are in the A380. Our call sign will be virtual and 073, so that doesn't change. We'll have a look in the intercom. So channel 1 has got the co-pilot, channel 2 has got the cabin crew, that's all good. So we're just going to say new flight, because this was already running. We want say intentions to pick up our Simbrief flight plan. So we're just saying new flight, which causes that to happen. Okay, so to begin with, we'll put ourselves on the radio check channel. Oh, the sim's about to crash by the sounds of it. Oh no, an aeroplane has... Oh, the new flight has regenerated the aircraft, so that's what's going on. That's why it suddenly went quiet. We hit new flight in say intentions, so it's redoing the aircraft injection. So if we just give it a moment or two, airplanes will start spawning around us again. So let's just wait for that to happen. The other thing we're going to do this evening is run transmitter in the background as well. So if I go into add-ons and run transmitter, and I can explain what this is along the way. So that's already running, it's connected to the simulator and it's up and running. So this is going to be an all-up test of everything running at once. This is a good recipe to break the simulator, by the way. So let's just wait for this to put some aeroplanes back around us. Hopefully they'll start appearing sometime soon. This is famous last words at this point, isn't it? Okay, we may as well go and jump inside our A380. We'll hear engines firing up around us if they are going to. I'm just worried now that this is not going to spawn. Here they come, look, the airplanes are spawning back in. Brilliant. So we can go overhead then. Let's go and start getting ready for our flight. So batteries, BAT1, ESS BAT, BAT2 and APU BAT go to on. We have external power available, so we turn them on. External light section, strobes go to auto. And nav lights go to on. Now, it's worth pointing out at this point, if we go and have a look in ACARS, you can see, actually, yeah, it's not taking any notice of those lights, which is going on and off, but it will take notice of bits and pieces later on. The APU section, so master switch goes to on, and then we start the APU. Then we can go and put the cruise supply on, arm the emergency exit lights, and set no mobiles to auto. Okay, so then ADIRS, we're going to go and press Shift and 9 to go further overhead. We're going to set the ADIRS, or Air Data Inertial Reference System, to nav mode across the 3 systems. Then we're going to press Shift and Space to come back down to the cockpit, and we're going to make sure all the brightnesses are good, and they are. So then we're going to program the flight with Simbrief. So Shift and 0 comes over to the tablet, and we click on the tablet and it boots up the tablet. And we can import the Simbrief data immediately. And it's saying it doesn't like the aircraft type, but we'll just ignore that. And then we go to the ground icon, and we're going to go to the fuel tab, and we're going to go, I'm just going to read this, load the fuel into the aircraft. So it's already got the data from Simbrief, so we're going to load that. If you're not, see, look, we only need a tiny amount of fuel for this flight, but we're going to give it more. So we've put a bit more than we need. Okay. We could give it a lot more. It doesn't really matter, because it's not, you know, this is funny money, as they say. So notice there's this, fill the payload from Simbrief. So Simbrief says it only needs 20,000. We're going to give it 55,000, just so we got lots left over. Doesn't matter. And notice we've got it set to instant to load that. Okay, so then we can go to payload, and this is going to go and get the passengers. So we download this from Simbrief. And notice it's saying, remember we had a technical flight, so there are no passengers. So we don't have to actually do anything. So we begin boarding and there's nobody to board. Yeah, it's an empty aeroplane. This is essentially, going to Blagnac is where the Airbuses get put together and then sent on to the airlines. So we're doing the equivalent of sending an Airbus down to Blagnac to be put, to finish its construction. To have its interior put in, I guess. Okay, so we've done the payload, we've done the fuel. We go to the MCDU now, or the MCDU as lots of people call it. So we're going to go and press the init button. So I'm going to do this from one side. It's easier from here. So we're going to press the init button. We're going to do a company flight plan request. And this will load the Simbrief flight plan. Obviously it depends on you having put it into the tablet. It takes a few seconds. So it's simulating how long it takes in the real aircraft. Then you receive it and you insert it. So there's our details going from EGKK to LFBO. Okay, so next thing we can do is select departure. And we can program the departure. So we can either look in here. So this has got the routing, remember. So we can see we're doing... has it got the version of the route up here as well? I'm just looking for a nice neat version. Obviously it's got the routing here, but we're taking off runway 26 left and the SFD 1X out towards the Seaford VOR. So runway 26 left and the SID is SFD 1X. So Seaford 1X. And go temporary flight plan and insert that into the flight plan. And then if we scroll down, by the way, you'll see there's all the routing to get down to Blagnac. But obviously there's a discontinuity because we haven't put the arrival in yet. So we'll go and click on Blagnac and we'll say arrival. Well, we can click it here as well, look, it does the same thing. So we're going to be doing the Nara 8 November into where's the destination runway? Runway 32 left with the Nara 8 November. So 32 left, we'll just double check that. 32 left, Nara 8 November. So 32 left. ILS 32 left, and we'll go for the longest route because it's a big old aeroplane. And the Nara 8 November. And temporary flight plan and insert that in. And you should find that the discontinuities have disappeared. Oh, we still got one. So we can, just to check that, to make sure that it may just be some vectors en route. So we're going to go and we got Seaford already in there. We got the Nara 8. So we want ILS Zulu. So why has it got a discontinuity? Because it should, that looks fairly solid all the way in. Following FUSAP, it's got a discontinuity in there. Okay, so we can just clear that out. So FUSAP, oh, actually, yeah, this should have some more. Should we go and check that? Runway 32 left. Approach, ILS 32 left Zulu. Oh, here we go. So we want the FUSAP transition and now, okay, so FUSAP, Nara 8 November, and that should be it. So temporary, insert, so this is why you double check things. And it's got it all in there now. Obviously, we could do a gross flight plan check as well if we so wish to. So in which case you go and put this into plan mode. And you can see it there, look. It's got that routing around the airport. So let's go back to ARC mode. And it's looking good. Okay. So having done the basic routing, we can go into the init page. And we can do fuel and load. We need to go and put the weights in. So we're going to populate the weights from the tablet. Okay, so we're going to go back over to the tablet and go back to the fuel page. I'm just reading my own notes on this. Oh, from the ground payload page. So yeah, payload page, sorry. And we've got in here the numbers that we need. So the populate the zero fuel weight in tons from the ground payload page. So zero fuel weight is in tons, so divided by 1,300. Okay. So we're going to go up here and type in 300 and press enter. Then the center of gravity for zero fuel weight is 36.2. And then the block fuel, the amount of fuel we've got on the aeroplane, we can find out from the fuel page. And we've got a total of 54.9. So remember, dividing everything by 1,000. Okay, so that's done all of that, and it's calculated all the numbers. Now it takes a second or two to do its calculations. Okay, so then we can go and press the performance button and we can go and figure out these speeds. Now I'm going to cheat slightly here because what you can do is go over to Simbrief to do it, or we can go and look. Remember, we've got the operational flight plan here and we've got the takeoff calculations. So we were taking off from runway 32 left. So takeoff. No, sorry, I'm being silly. That's the arrival. 26 left. So 26 left. There's the calculations for it, and we've got the V1 122 128 146. So 122 128 and 146. Okay, flaps 1, we're going to use toga power to get off the ground, and that's that done as well. I don't think we have to calculate the THS, but let's see if it's got it in here. Has it got the throttle setting? It hasn't got the THS calculation, has it? No. So the calculator doesn't give us that, which is a bit of a shame. So we'll just put 0. Okay, so we've done all of the performance calculations. So then we can press, leave this on the flight plan page now, press Shift and 2, and we can go and press comma to set the QNH to shortcut doing that. We can configure the modes. We're going to leave all of this stock for the moment. We are going to put our initial altitude in. We've got to call clearance first, though, in a moment to do that. Let's go and just double check this. Does this switch on the VHF radios automatically? I think it does. Yeah, it's lit up down here, look. So we should be able to call the tower immediately when we need to. Or call for clearance, I should say. Okay, so let's go do that now while we're thinking of it, because we're also going to need to go into the serve page in here and go and set our squawk, for example. So we're going to go back over to set intentions and go to clearance now. Actually, before we do that, let's go to ATIS.
Wind 200 at 4.
So
Cav OK.
Information is Gulf.
Temperature 3.
That's all we need to know for the moment. So we are now going to go and talk to Gatwick clearance. Clearance Virtual 073 Heavy requesting clearance to Blagnac with information Golf.
Clearance on request. You're number 1.
So we just wait now and they'll let us know our clearance information in a moment.
Virtual 073, cleared to Blagnac via the C-Forward 1 X-ray departure, runway 26 left. Initial climb to flight level 060. Departure on 118.9er, 5 squawk 3637.
Cleared to Blagnac via the C-Forward 1 X-ray departure runway 26 left. Initial climb flight level 060. Departure 118.95, squawk 3637. Virtual 037 heavy. 073 heavy even. Saying things backwards now. It's my speciality.
Virtual 073, read back correct. Contact ground on 121.805.
We'll contact ground on 121.805, thank you. Okay, so we can go and put this back on the radio check channel. So otherwise...
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome aboard this flight with Virtual Airline, flight number INI 001, heading to Toulouse. We kindly ask you to take your seats.
So we're going to hear all the sounds in the background now. It's good, isn't it? Okay, so we need to go and set squawk to 3637.
Lovely crew members, including myself, Caroline, and my wonderful colleagues James, Sarah, Emily,
That's that done.
and Michael. Thank you for choosing to fly with us today.
And we'll put this on auto on the transponder. So notice it's saying reporting is on, it's going to standby mode and norm on the TCAS, which is all good. We can leave that as it is. Okay, so we can get on with doing a few other bits and pieces. They gave us a clearance to an altitude there of 060, so 6,000 feet. So we'll go and dial that in before we do anything. Oh, there it was, 6,000, that's good. So we can start getting the aeroplane ready. So shift and 8 takes us overhead. Seatbelt signs goes to on. So obviously the APU has been running for some time. We can confirm that by looking on the various displays down here. So you can go to eCam down here, and if I can find the button, APU will show us that we're generating power on the APU. We turn it back off and it will go back to automatic mode to show you statuses of things that make sense at a given time. So now we know obviously APU is running, bus transfer will happen automatically, so the external power can come off. We can go back over to the tablet, we can go to ground services. He says, famous last words. Oh, it's stuck. I've got a bug in the aeroplane, haven't I? Let's try that again from a different angle. The tablet is... I've broken the tablet. Oh dear. I wonder what happens if we come back and do that. There we go. It was just a bug. Services. And we can remove the ground power unit from the airplane. That's all we're really interested in doing. So we'll do everything from the pilot view, hey? It will encourage us to sit in the correct place. So pushback, we can go into here and we can click on the pushback, and we're going to go back to say intentions first. We're going to go to ground. Gatwick ground, virtual 073 requesting pushback and engine start.
Virtual 073. Pushback and engine start approved. Face west.
So they want us to face west. So facing that way. So our tail has to go to the right. Or sorry, to our left. Yeah, that's the way to think of it. So we're going to go and put the pushback system on. We're going to call the tug. And if we go and look outside now, you can see there's the tug lining up with us. We're in this monstrous A380. Look, all the aeroplanes lined up. They've all come home for the night, and we're about to set off for the night. So we'll take the parking brake off, and then we can go backwards, and we can increase the speed, and we can go left as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome aboard this flight with Virtual Airline.
Okay, so while that's happening,
INI001,
we can go and put the APU bleed on,
expecting a flight time of approximately 1
and
hour
we can
and 20 minutes. We kindly ask
turn
you to
on
pay close
the
attention
ignition
to
system,
upcoming safety demonstration,
and we can
as
start
it contains important
starting the
information
engines.
for our frequent flyers. Now,
So you can
please
see
look at the
first
seatbelt.
engine spooling up.
To fasten it, insert the metal fitting into the buckle until you hear a click. To tighten, pull the strap. To release, lift the buckle. Remember, your seatbelt must be fastened whenever the seatbelt
Okay, so
sign
we're going to be
is
taxiing out that way, look.
Please return your seat backs and tray tables to the upright position and ensure that your window blinds are opened for takeoff and landing. Mobile phones and electronic devices must be set to flight mode. Laptops or larger devices should be securely stowed during takeoff and landing.
How are we doing on the engine? It's coming up. So we're going to stop this pushback.
If required, oxygen masks will drop automatically.
And then
Pull the mask
disconnect,
firmly towards you. Place it over your nose and mouth,
put the parking
and
brake back
breathe
on.
normally. Remember to secure your own mask before assisting others. Your life
Keep
vest
an
is
eye out for the
located
tug.
under your seat or between the seats.
So engine
To put it on,
is
put it
up
over
and
your
running.
head, fasten
So
it, and
next
inflate
one
it
can
only
go.
after leaving the aircraft. Special life vests for children are available. In case of an emergency, floor-level
So
lighting will guide you to the nearest exit, which is clearly marked. We have a total of
pushback
8
is finished.
exits on this
There goes the
aircraft,
truck.
located at the front, middle,
We'll leave the
and
OFP on the
the
screen.
nearest exit may be behind you. In the event of an evacuation,
So we're just waiting for the engines to
please
come up
leave
now.
all personal belongings behind and follow all safety instructions from the crew.
So did we put the beacon light on? No, we didn't. We'll get dinged for that on the TCAS. Because obviously before engine start you should have the beacon lights on. Just to warn people near the aircraft that you're doing it. And again, I've missed that off of my
Taxi to parking via Echo Romeo, hold short of runway
instructions.
26
So let's go and put the
then
boost pumps
Tango,
on full
Juliet,
fuel.
Sierra.
The engines are quite capable of pumping fuel on their own. So these are boost pumps overhead if you ever wondered. Okay, and the next one. So you'll notice they'll start a lot more quickly with the boost pumps. So we just run through this with each engine. So we're just waiting for the numbers to come up. So when it gets to about 60-odd%, the highlight will go out and it will say available up here, which means then you can start the next one. I think you can actually start them in pairs in the real world, but we'll just do them one at a time, so it's fairly straightforward and we can keep an eye on what we're doing. We're not in a hurry. While we're waiting for that, we can go and do a few other bits and pieces, so we can arm the ground spoilers. We can go and set the... We've already done TCAS, haven't we, yet? So it's on standby at the moment. We won't put it on until we're on the runway to put it on TA mode. Okay, so you can hear the fans are clicked in.
8501 Tango Bravo. Contact tower on 134.23. Take care.
So basically, whenever you hear the fans kick in the environmental control system,
134.23 November 851 Tango Bravo. Good night.
when you hear the fans kick in on the environmental
Seabird
control
493,
system, it means
you're
you
on
can
ground frequency. Contact tower for departure clearance.
it means you've got air pressure left over, if that makes sense. So you can see it's just coming up on engine number 1. Well, let's go, and while we're waiting for that, we'll go and put the taxi light on. We just lit the ground up in front of ourselves. We're getting that, so you'll notice this will say available up here when it comes online. There we go. So, engines are up and running. So we can go and turn the ignition system back to norm. And we can go overhead. We can turn off the APU bleed and turn off the APU because we're running the engines now. Let's just double check the lights, see what we've got on, what we haven't. So we're going to say turn that light on. We've got the taxi light on. Strobes can stay on auto. Just checking around, make sure everything's looking good. Okay. So we've finished engine start, and we can now go and taxi out to the runway. So if we go and remind ourselves on the flight plan, we're taking off runway 26 left. So, oh no, that's just the takeoff parameters. This is the actual one, 26 left. So where is 26 left? It's the far side here. So obviously nothing uses 26 right at Gatwick. So we need to get our taxi instructions down here. So let's go back to the radios. Go back to, we're still on ground, remember. Well, we are now. We'll just check that 121805. Let's see what we've got in the cockpit. 121805 is showing. So let's go and have a look at this before we call them.
Ground.
Gatwick ground, virtual 073 heavy, requesting taxi to runway 26 left. So let's see what letters they tell us to follow.
Virtual 073, runway 26 left, taxi via Kilo, November, Alpha, November, Mike.
Hey, Hotel Yankee requesting push and start, please.
Easy 58 Hotel Yankee. Push and
Kilo
start approved.
November.
Face southwest.
Alpha November. Mike. Taxi 26 left via Kilo November. Alpha November. Mike. Virtual 073 heavy.
Easy 601 Yankee. Request taxi.
Let's put the head tracking on now. So, parking brake off, and we are moving forwards. Let's go and get out onto the illuminated line of so let's see if we can get this right. So November is the first left. We'll do it carefully and slowly. So Alpha November is the third left by the look of it. Can we see signs here? That's Zulu. Except it wasn't. Oh yeah, Zulu's just coming up, okay. So Alpha November, here we go, you can see the sign on the ground down there.
Virtual 073. Contact tower on 124.23. Have a good evening.
Contact tower 124.23, virtual 073 heavy. So this is Alpha November over here. Yeah, we're going the right way. And we'll just get the steering done, and then we'll contact tower.
Push and start.
Monarch 123. Push and start approved. Face north.
Push and start approved, face north, Monarch 123.
Easy 78 Hotel, you confirm request push and start.
So we'll hold it here. So we are at Alpha. Tower, virtual 073 heavy, holding at Alpha for runway 26 left.
Virtual 73 Heavy, London Gatwick Airport Tower, runway 26 left, backtrack approved.
There's nothing coming in, is there? We are the only people moving. Usually flights finish over London fairly early in the evening. Obviously we're very late, so this isn't entirely realistic what's going on here. Just moving the flaps to takeoff position. Edge the aeroplane forwards towards the start of the runway proper. Because we're empty, we're not going to need much of a takeoff run. Let's show the constraints on the navigation display. Okay, so we need to go and we've already done that. Let's go and put the auto brakes on and do the takeoff config test, which is a little button there, and it's normal. Tower virtual 073 heavy, lined up runway 26 left.
Virtual 073 Heavy, runway 26 left, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, 26 left, virtual 073 heavy. So throttles go forwards. Oh, I didn't take the brake off then in time. Throttles go all the way forwards. And we should have the landing lights on as well, by the way, and that light should go to takeoff. Whoa, what's going on? We've got a problem. I'm just going to check something. Okay. We got a problem with the control mappings. What's going on? Oh, it's an updated version of the aeroplane. I've not seen this one before. Basic, save and back. Resume. That was very close that we caught that. So let's just figure this out. Make sure. I'm just going to go and run this through the detents. Climb, flex, toga. Yeah, it's good. I completely forgot. This is a slightly different variant of the A380, and it wasn't configured, obviously. We nearly had a huge accident with it. Let's do that again, shall we? And this is why you should double check things. There we go.
V1.
And gear up. Autopilot on. Just keep an eye on the
Ryanair
speeds.
32 Charlie Golf established on the localizer, ILS 26 left.
Virtual
We'll go
073, contact departure on 118.905.
So we're going to put TCAS on now. Contacting departure 118.95, virtual 073 heavy. Gatwick departures, virtual 073 heavy, departing runway 26 left.
Virtual 73
And
heavy,
raise the flaps.
London Gatwick departure identified. Climb flight level 060.
Climbing flight level 060, virtual 073 heavy. So that was already ordained by the... So they're basically saying climb on the standard instrument departure. So you can see the constraints here, look. So we can get to 4,000 feet by KS16. So the aircraft won't go. See, look, it's holding at 4,000 already.
Virtual 073, climb flight level 210.
Climbing flight level 210, virtual 073 heavy. Now, they've not told us to do that on the SID. So we're going to go straight for it. This is because it's quiet. They're going to get us just out of the airspace. So we pull the knob towards us, and that does an open climb. The throttles are already in the climb descent. We can get rid of the ground spoilers arming.
Virtual 073 heavy, speed 250 please.
Whoa, what's happening with the speed? The auto throttle didn't kick in, did it? So we just overspeed. Oh, interesting. So I'm just pulling the throttle back to let us come back quickly. Go back to the climb descent.
Virtual 073. Heavy understood. Maintain current speed as desired.
Reducing speed 220 knots as per the flight plan. Virtual 073 heavy. Apologies for that. So we're just going through a transition altitude as well. So let's go and set the... Oh, it's synchronized.
Gatwick departure, good morning, Easy 21 Hotel Yankee with you, flight level 0204060.
It's done it again, look.
060.
Easy 21 Yankee, climb, flight level 210.
Flight level 210.
That's
Easy
interesting.
21 Yankee.
So it dropped the auto throttle twice. And I wasn't watching what was going on and didn't catch it quickly enough, so we ended up doing 300 knots instead of 250 would be the maximum, obviously below 10,000 feet. We're just coming up through 9,000 feet now. So this will give us...
Virtual 073, climb, flight level 260.
climbing flight level 260, virtual 073 heavy. So just to show you what the impact of that has on ACARS, look at this. There was the pause, takeoff, flap set 1, violation, speed under 10,000 feet exceeds 260, minus 2 points.
Dear guests, we are now at a safe altitude.
So we're coming through 10,000 feet, the landing light needs to go off.
You may also use your approved electronic devices in
Strobes should have been on, but they're on auto, but
please sit back,
Okay, so now we're climbing out. Let's go and ask our intrepid co-pilot if she can do comms for a while. Hi Amanda, can you look after the radio communications for a few minutes?
Sure, I'll handle the communications for now.
Okay, so I'm being asked in the live stream by Ryan, hey, first time in the stream, what download do you have for the A380 stable or development? I've tried both and can't get the iPad to work no matter what. This is in Flight Sim 2024 and this is the development version of the 380. So it just works, yeah. It's a little bit funny. I had to jump around views a little bit earlier, so it's not quite, you know, as good as or as stable as it should be. But yeah, so running in the background though, let's go through some of these things we're looking at this evening. We've got ACARS running. So this is the ACARS.
Mike Juliet, climb, flight level 270.
From VirtualFlight.Online.
Level 270.
So obviously you can see the OFP in here. And we can see the live map, and you can see the report that's going to go into the ACARS report.
Cleared to Gibraltar via the NavMap 1
if we go and look on
runway 26 left, initial climb, flight level 060, departure on 126.825, squawking 2214, EC 78 Kilo Zulu.
Just wait for them to stop talking.
Virtual 073, climb, flight level 330.
So Amanda will talk back
Climbing
to
flight
them.
level 330, virtual 73.
I'll need to go do it. So what I was saying is, this is the airline, so we can go and look, and we can see, look, there's us. And we are going from Gatwick over to LFBO, and if we go and have a look, and zoom in on this map.
Virtual 073, contact London Control on 118.48.
So Amanda will handle that for us. We can go and click on ourselves, or we can click on ourselves here as well,
73.
and it will center the map and show us our route so far. But the real trick comes in what you get to see at the end of the flight. So obviously you can see the people that are flying right now.
London Control, virtual 73, evening, climbing to flight level 180.
You can see
for
details
flight level
of your last
330.
PIREP. So that was me arriving on a group flight I did earlier this evening. I scored 100% on it, look. No mistakes.
London Control identified. Good evening.
Yeah, let's go and show you this. So this was the flight I did earlier this evening, and you can see you get all the financial breakdown. So I actually made $30,000 on that flight. You get a speed chart, you get all the PIREP data to do with, you know, this is your black box data basically, giving you your touchdown, you know, feet per minute and all the rest of it. And you also get the full log of events inside the airplane along the way, so there's me setting flap levels and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, it's good fun. You get to see how many passengers you had, and you get to see obviously the Simbrief OFP that you were following for that flight. You can go and click on the airports to see more about them. So we click on one of them, you can go and move it around on the map. You can get the weather map live. You can get the NOTAMs as well. So there's obviously no NOTAMs found, but there's the METAR and the TAF.
Contact Brussels Control on 131.1.
31.1, Seabird 930.
Oh, that wasn't us, that was somebody else. What's going on with this? I'm just keeping an eye on it. So let's increase the range. On the navigation display we've got a 60 knot crosswind, which, look at that bank angle, that's mad. Well, not bank angle, they're crab angle. So if we go and have a look from outside, it's very dark out here, but there's our aeroplane. Just going off across the south coast. So yeah, the real trick here though is the airline has tons and tons of functionality. So obviously we can just do whatever flights we like, but also within the airline we've got flights So we've got a database of thousands of flights all over the world. So you can go and filter them by type of aircraft that are suitable for the airlines. So there's many airlines in the system. And you can see the map of the flights around the world. So it's going to take a while to load. In fact, it may not even load because there's so much data on it. Yeah, it's refusing to load. We can see a map of where the fleet aircraft are around the world. So these are all of the aircraft of the various airlines. So you can go and click on one. You can see where it is. You can go and actually look at the aircraft itself and see where it's been recently. You can do all sorts of things. Perhaps the most fun thing in the airline are tours. So you can go and pick a particular tour. So there's one here, the South America tour. And number of legs around South America, and you can get a map of those legs. So if you go and click in here, and we can change this to make a bit more sense. So you can see each of the legs penciled in. So every time you fly a leg via the ACARS system, when you land and shut the aircraft down, it will tick the leg off as done for you. Yeah, so you'll get ticks on the way down. So we've got lots of different tours that work the same way.
134.125.
There's a famous one here called the McRobertson Air Race. It's a historic tour that we staged inside the airline. Where, if you go and look at the map, it was from England down to Australia in the 1930s. It was famously won by an aircraft called the de Havilland Comet. You can see it there, look. Grosvenor House.
North London City.
But obviously there are the legs for the route.
Hotel Sierra Tango Romeo London control identified.
But yeah, so that's the airline, and that's what we're playing with behind the scenes of operating the aircraft as per normal and using say intentions as well. The airline's completely free to join, by the way. ACARS is free to download. So all you need to do is go visit airline.virtualflight.online. So it's going to be a bit of a sales pitch this evening, I'm afraid. Alongside the airline, we have a newsletter, which obviously tells you the latest news or anything that's worth knowing about that we're wanting to tell everybody. There's a reference guide. There's a full online reference guide to everything to do with the airline and the wider story of VirtualFlight.Online. So it takes you through beginner's guide, how ACARS works, how the flights work, how the rank system works. There is a rank system. How scoring works on the flights, how the PIREPs work, what aircraft are in the fleet, and obviously the tours. So you can see obviously a little bit more about each of the tours in here to go and see what's been configured already. The rank system is quite straightforward. The number of hours you have filed moves you up the rank ladder, which makes more aircraft available to you. Okay, so if you look on the fleet page, you'll see student pilot, private pilot, gives you all of those. That's 1 hour, gives you these lot. About 10 hours in, you get the transport aircraft. 20 hours the business, 30, 40, and so on. So it's fairly straightforward how it all works. There's a Facebook group, there's a Discord server, a really popular Discord server. They do lots of group flights on the Discord server. So alongside all of this, I'm also running Transmitter in the background, which is this tiny little program if you've not seen it before. So let's minimize everything else. This is going to be the mother of all demos this evening, isn't it? So this is Transmitter, and you can see it's reading where we are in the world, and it's sending it across the internet. So if we go and have a look at who's online, you can see the people that are using Transmitter right now. There's only a few of us that are still up because I'm up late, obviously. So there's me. If I click on me, it will zoom in on me to show me on the map. But I can also, if we come back to Transmitter, we go to Transmitter and Radar, we can also see a radar display of the world, and we can put a nice grid on it, and we can zoom in as obviously me here. And if we zoom in far enough, you get labels next to the aircraft, so you can move the labels around and it remembers. So if you watch every 5 seconds, the aeroplane will move. Yeah? If we click the little running man icon, it will smooth it out. It's got what's called interpolation. There it goes.
Virtual 73, London Control, contact Paris Control on 128.875.
So we can see our route across the map.
Switching to Paris Control on 128.875.
But this is really designed for group flights.
73.
So there's not many people around this evening, but we can see who this is. Look, there's a guy here that's flying around. There was another one over
Control,
here.
Virtual 73. Good evening, we're climbing to flight level 330.
You can get a list of the pilots that are online right now.
330.
Sometimes there's 50 or 60 people on here. You can also track an aeroplane. So say we wanted to keep ourselves...
Virtual 73, Paris Control, identified. Salut pilote.
Have we been given higher clearance yet? Climbing 330. Yeah, that was what we were given. We're at 330. We're not going to be given higher.
Dear guests, we have now reached our cruising altitude, and the cabin crew will begin the
Let's go and check the OFP.
shortly. Today we have some delightful options from our menu, including our signature.
So, if you've gone and lost the page, you can easily get back to it by going to bids.
From our airline shop available for you to browse. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the
And
flight.
wait for the page to load, and we can see there is our bid, and we can go and view the OFP, and we can see the flight level. Yeah, there we go, 33,000 for the initial altitude. So if you look through, you may sometimes, yeah, there's going to be a climb to 350 at Benbow, which I don't think we've reached yet. Let's have a look. Flight plan. Let's go and have a look on the map. Where is Benbow then? That's interesting then. There it is. And it's behind us. We should have gone up to 350. Why did they not tell us? I just missed it on here. Okay, we're just going to follow what they've told us to do. The original flight plan had us climbing at Benbow for another couple of thousand feet. Should we go and query it with the centre? Because this is the sort of thing you can do with say intentions that you can't do with other systems. Centre Virtual 073 at flight level 330. Should we not have climbed to 350?
Virtual 073. Maintain flight level 330 as cleared.
Maintaining 330 as cleared. Virtual 073 heavy. Okay. So for whatever reason they're holding us at flight level 330. That's fine.
Maintaining flight level 330 as cleared. Virtual 73.
I forgot Amanda's repeating everything as well. Should we go and ask the cabin if we can have some coffee? Can we get some coffee in the cockpit, please? Just press the intercom button.
Of course, Captain. I'll bring the coffee right away.
So, if we look down here, we should see the ETA look into Blagnac. So, if we scroll a little bit further, looking at about 1:30. In about an hour. So where is top of descent? Let's go and have a scroll back through. Oops, wrong way. About 5 to 1 in the morning. So it's 30 minutes, in 20 minutes time then basically. 25 minutes time. We'll get top of descent at Balan and start. Oh no, sorry, no, that's going 330 through till top of descent at just after Evpok. Between Evpok and Narak. So let's go and zoom out on the navigation display. And there it is, look, marked in. So that's the descent mark. So someone's asking, does the AI decline alcohol in the cockpit? Shall we find out? Can we get some wine in the cockpit, please?
Sure thing, Captain. I'll bring the wine to the cockpit right away.
Can we get 2 bottles of champagne and 6 cans of lager, please?
Sure thing, Captain. I'll bring the champagne and lager right away.
That's funny. How about a pizza? See, this is the thing. Once you realise that AI is pretty much...
Bird, 406 Paris Control, good evening.
I'll get back to you shortly.
This is the thing with AI. It's very suggestible. So if you play along and treat it in a sensible way, it will give you sensible answers. If you give it nonsensical tasks, it will give you nonsensical answers. AI will pretty much be what you want it to be. That's the thing you have to remember. So if you treat it in a sensible way, you'll get good feedback from it. It's a bit like if you're talking to Google or typing instructions into Google Gemini or Copilot. The best advice I've ever heard is to preface your request of an AI large language model engine, preface your request with who you want them to answer as, and that will shape the way they answer you. So in other words, say if you want an answer about something to do with aviation, answer me as an experienced airline pilot. You know, obviously you can play that the other way around for a bit of fun. You can say, answer me as a very small child. Or a very young child, I should say. Can we ask for permission to do a loop-the-loop? They won't clear that because that's not on the flight plan. Geigo, garbage in, garbage out. I'm a software developer. I know all of these terms. PEBCAC. Problem exists between keyboard and chair. There's lots and lots of acronyms to do with aviation as well, especially with general aviation. To do with the safety checks, hassle, things like that. For say intentions, the context as an airline is set, so I call it a bug. Yeah, and they're improving it all the time. So I'm often quite forgiving of say intentions because it gives you such flexibility. It's so useful. Should we have a look outside? Very pretty, isn't it? Look at that. Where's the light pollution coming from? And below us, over here, it's going to be Rouen, isn't it? You can see Rouen when the simulator reappears. It's lighting up the clouds. So we're being asked, will the airline, will say intentions allow VFR? Yes, it will. It's very, very good at VFR. So you can talk to controllers of airfields, and it is starting to simulate VFR traffic as well. So you'll hear the common traffic advisory frequency you know, with people announcing where they are, saying intentions. So it's becoming very good at that as well. But it is really good when you say, for example, you do a point-to-point flight across the map and you ask for flight following, then they will hand you off. You know, they'll let you do flight following as well between the center controllers, and they'll hand you off and they'll warn you about aircraft nearby. And one of the nicest things, I think, is we're doing this IFR plan, obviously, and you can see there's a very specific approach into Blagnac. Don't be surprised if, because it's quiet and it's late, they vector us straight in rather than following the route, although this isn't such a difficult one. But sometimes if you have a complicated approach, it's very common for the controllers to realise there's nothing in the airspace. Why make you fly up and down a racetrack star or approach when you don't have to? So yeah, I'm just reading the comment there about switching between VATSIM and say intentions. It's very common. I know lots of people that use VATSIM and they also have say intentions on one side, so they'll switch to say intentions when they don't get coverage at VATSIM. Because as essentially say intentions has, you know, fully staffed ATC everywhere all the time. And it's wonderful because they all have regional accents and they've got a huge variety of voices as well. Okay, did we take the seatbelt sign off? No. Although there's no passengers, are there? So that's a bit of a falsehood. Again, you could say that's a bug. We've got an empty aeroplane and the cabin crew was busy talking to the passengers. The non-existent passengers. But again, we're really splitting hairs with arguing about that sort of thing. So, if we go and have a look in the browser, and you can see on radar, we're still being followed.
Coming like an old Cessna.
Janex 1337, contact Paris Control on 118.725.
Officer Amanda.
Contacting Paris Control 118.725, Chanex 1337, thank you.
So you see
Easy 123, descend, flight level 130.
We can stop tracking if we wish to.
Descend flight level 130 for
it
Easy
stops
123.
glowing. We can switch off the automatic smooth updates as well. Obviously, something else transmitter does, I haven't explained this actually, is you can see there's a red aeroplane there underneath us. Anyone that's using transmitter, you can see their red aeroplanes on the map, and the way you get it to do that in LittleNavMap is you go to Tools and Options and Online Flying, and you put this URL in that points at the transmitter server and tell it the frequency of updates, so every 5 seconds is good enough. And that makes those red aeroplanes appear. So anyone that's using transmitter, you can see their position updated every 5 seconds. So it's, if you're doing a group flight and you're wanting to simulate radar, it's the easiest way to do it. So then whoever's being radar, in quotes, can be watching LittleNavMap and instructing people, you know, what vector to fly. Because obviously LittleNavMap has all these lovely toys, like being able to draw vectors and do range rings and, you know, whatever you wanted to do. We'll remove the range rings and we'll remove the measurement. But yeah, it's super useful. Obviously here you can see it simulating the run-in, and it's got it wrong because that changed it. NARA 8N. We just haven't got the approach on, have we? So let's go and go to Blagnac, show arrival approaches, and let's go double check what it was. So the briefing into Blagnac, NARA 8N and it was runway 32 left, and there was Zulu, and there were 5 transitions, and it was the FUSAP
Paris
transition.
Control, good morning. This is Skyways 426 with you at flight level 257 for flight level 350.
So we'll be picking up the ILS.
Skyways 426.
109.30.
Salut.
Useful request. You're number 1.
Obviously, we're still quite a long way out.
Virtual 073. Expect the NARA 8 November arrival. Prepare to descend in roughly 20 minutes. Notify if you're ready to descend before that.
There we go.
Expecting the NARA 8 November arrival. We'll prepare to descend in about 20 minutes. We'll notify if ready to descend earlier. Virtual 73.
So there we go. So I'm going to grab a quick coffee while we're en route to top of descent, and I'll be back in a few moments.
British Medical Flight Delta 26 with you at flight level 350, descending flight level 240.
British Medical Mike Delta 26 Paris Control, roger.
On speed, with you.
Speedbird 8903 Paris Control, roger.
Speedbird 09090. Contact Bordeaux Control on 127.675.
Contact Bordeaux Control 127.675. Speedbird 0909. Good day.
Air France A3 Paris Control, contact de Gaulle, approach on 119.85.
Contact de Gaulle, approach on 119.85, Air France A3, bye-bye.
Okay, I'm back. So let's have a look and see how we are doing. We bring the range down on the navigation display. Go and have a look on the map. Okay. So we're just coming along and we're going to start descending fairly soon. So we don't have much in the way of constraints that we have to obey. You can see, look, below flight level 190. And then we've got above flight level 080. And then you're into this slightly odd approach, and this chart really doesn't show it. So let's go and open the charts and look at the approaches. And we want the approaches for 32.
Virtual 073, contact Bordeaux Control on 127 on decimal 675.
Yeah, so you can see it there, look.
Contacting Bordeaux Control on 127.675. Virtual 73.
So if we superimpose that onto the map, you can see ourselves coming around here. We still don't need to descend yet.
Bordeaux Control, Virtual 73, evening, maintaining flight level 330.
Virtual 73, Bordeaux Control identified. Good evening.
That's fairly straightforward.
Centre, good afternoon, Golf Alpha Victor Alpha, just departed LFBJ, requesting IFR clearance as filed, passing 2,000 feet from
Max
FL
210 knots as we turn into the feathers. There is a building in the way.
Clear direct LMG, then as filed, climb flight level 070, Golf Alpha Victor Alpha. Centre, good afternoon, Golf Alpha Victor Alpha at LFDE, request IFR clearance as filed.
Okay, so we are powered by coffee this evening. Let's go double check the transition altitude at the destination. Should be on the RS chart, shouldn't it? And it's underneath here, 5,000 feet. Okay, good to know. And we'll go and also look up the weather. So weather at Blagnac is 1019 hectopascals, 200 degrees 4 knots on the wind. There's hardly any wind. So how does this look coming in? Although we're doing ILS Zulu, so yeah, this is the one. 3,000 feet from about 8 miles out. Okay. What about the decision altitudes? 250 feet above ground level, 747 above sea level. Good. So that's giving it about 40 miles to get from 33,000 feet to below 19,000 feet. It's certainly doable. This aircraft has got pretty good spoilers. Let's go and increase the range on the navigation, on the co-pilot navigation display. I'm not sure if there's much in the way of weather down there, but we'll turn it on. I think we can play games with yeah, it won't let us tilt it, look. I was wondering if we could go below with it, but I don't think we can. We'll leave the weather radar on anyway. Do we have to power it up over here? Below. Oh, there we go. Oh, the button's not operational. Do we have to turn this on? I've not really played with the weather radar. I don't know if it's implemented or not. Let's turn the lights down a bit. It's a bit more dramatic, doesn't it? Okay. We have got head tracking, of course, so I could be lolling around the cockpit and making everybody feel seasick if I so wished. I think we need to make some adjustments to the system soon, or the not the system, the plan. So we want to go for 19,000 feet. Let's have a play with VNav then and see how good it is. So we've said flight level 190, look. But we haven't told it how to do it. So if we click the top half of the knob, let me turn the brightness back up so you can see what I'm doing. If we click the top half of the altitude knob, it will push it towards the aeroplane, which means to the aeroplane that the aeroplane gets to make the decision of how we get there. So it will follow any constraints on the flight plan. Where you see stars, those are constraints.
7440, inbound 8 flight level 290.
Air France 7440, Bordeaux control, identified. Good evening. Air France 7440, descend flight level 120.
So we're about 100 miles out, 120 miles out. So as I said, we've dialed in the target altitude, but we've not told the aeroplane how to do it. So if we were going to push on this, it will go into descent mode, and you'll see it go to 1,000 feet per minute. If you watch it carefully, and you'll see this green dot has appeared. That's the descent profile. So we are going below the descent profile, but that will catch back up with us because we are only descending at 1,000 feet a minute, because we're descending early. So let's go and tell the controllers. Hi Amanda, I'll take over comms again now.
Alright Jonathan, you're back on comms.
Bordeaux, virtual 073 heavy, beginning descent.
Virtual 073, cleared Nara 8 November into Blagnac. When you're ready, descend flight level 160.
Descending flight level 160, virtual 073 heavy. So they're telling us to go straight down to 16 then. So we just do a So just to explain the difference, if you weren't aware of this, if you push this towards the airplane, obviously it uses the VNAV rules. So it will go at 1,000 feet a minute until it gets to a point in the route. You can see it here actually in this lovely little diagram of what it's doing. If we were to pull the altitude knob towards us, that means we are making the decision. Good point.
We kindly ask everyone to return to your seats, stow your tables, and fasten your seatbelts. Please note that the usage of the lavatories is no longer allowed at this time. Thank you for your cooperation.
Okay. So yeah, if we were to pull the altitude knob, it basically means that we're making the decision and the airplane will just get to that altitude as fast as it can. And we could help it do that by using spoilers if we wanted to, or if we don't, it will just glide. Yeah, so the engines will wind back to idle and it will get there as fast as it can gliding. But if we use VNAV, VNAV will obey all of the constraints along the way. So by VNAV I mean managed descent. So if we were to click the top of half of this, it says descent. I'll show you the difference. If I click the bottom half, watch this sign here. OpDes, open descent. So I'm going to go back to descent immediately. Because we don't need to drop out of the sky. So you can see this is where it's going to get to our target altitude, and then it's going to begin descending again. So we might be a little bit late. Although it's saying below 19,000 and we're aiming for 16,000. So it stands to reason it will be after that if we follow the VNAV. So watch the percentages on the engines. If we go and go until an open descent, watch the engines drop. Look at those percentages. So it's cutting the engine all the way back. You can't obviously see the throttles moving in an Airbus because they're electronic. Then if we go back to VNAV mode, or descent mode, you know, manage descent, then you can see the engines are going to wind back up to maintain the speed. Let's go and bring the range down again. Notice you've got two completely independent systems in a really nicely modelled aeroplane, so we can scoot ourselves across the cockpit if we can remember how to do it. I've been playing with X-Plane recently and it's messed up my kind of thought processes a little bit. So you can see, you know, different things on different screens, which is really useful. So it's asking us to enter the destination data. So to do that we go to the perf page, and you can see there's the approach information here. So we want the wind at the destination, which we had in Navigraph.
Virtual 073, cross FlyByWire at or above flight level 080.
Cross FlyByWire at or above flight level 080, virtual 073 heavy. So we need to put 4 knots in here. We need to put the temperature at the destination, which is 0. Oh my word, it's cold. So we need to keep heating in mind then for the systems. So QNH 1019 hectopascals. And the minimum, or minima, I should say, for the landing is 250 feet using radio. And the transition flight level was 050. So we've done that, and we can clear that reminder away. And we're still below the descent profile. So you can see there, look, it wants us at 8,000 feet at FlyByWire. a look outside. It's dark out there, isn't it? There's something else. There's an aeroplane out there in front of us, look. So it looks like we're going to carry on at about 1,000 feet a minute until we get to Narak, and then we're going to slowly descend more quickly. So we'll be ready on the spoilers because we have a 300-ton aeroplane here. The A380 is a bit of a monster. On this screen for you to see what's going on.
Air France 25 Zulu Juliet, contact Bordeaux control on 125.105.
Is anyone else using transmitter around? Should we go and have a look? Kill some time along the way. Nah, there's a few of us. Not many. There were quite a lot on earlier. We could also obviously see the weather at the destination live in here as well. So there we go. There's the Toulouse weather. Look, the wind's hardly moving over the airfield. There's Blagnac. Just a few knots. That 1 kilometre. That's mad, isn't it? I've never seen it that slow. And you can get the forecasts. It's really clever. I like this. Okay. So ACARS is running in the background. You can see there's not much for it to report at the moment. On a good day it doesn't have much to report. So Gareth is asking, could you not just put in a lower flight level and let VNav take care of it? Absolutely. That's the beauty of VNav. So what we're getting at here is, yeah, we could put in 3,000 feet and it will look after it. So let's go and say 3,000 please. But we have to be careful to push it towards the aeroplane. Otherwise it will carry on descending. So it's going to now descend all the way through all of these constraints with the speeds, and you'll see the target airspeed for the auto throttle moving, and you'll see the target altitude moving around. And you can see this lovely profile here of it's going to get steeper once we get past Narak. And you can see it's a bit jumbled up here at the moment, but when we zoom in again, when we get to within 40 miles...
Traffic 350, giveaway for Skyhawk. Warning 4 Sierra Quebec. Okay, traffic inside.
Warning for Sierra Quebec. Roger. Maintain visual separation.
So again, we are, because we descended early, we're still only at 1,000 feet a minute. You can see that's suddenly going to get steeper, and you'll probably find when we get past Narak is when the descent profile is going to catch up with us. So let's go and double check the ILS frequency that we have programmed. So ILS Zulu is this one, 109.3321 degrees. So if we look down here, and we go to Nave 109.3321 degrees, 3-degree glide slope, perfect. So when we get a little bit closer, we'll turn on landing system, and that will show, well, we can do it now. It shows you the localizer and the glide slope bars on the primary flight display. Obviously we can also turn the navigation display into landing system mode, where you get the view of the HSI or horizontal situation indicator and the CDI or course deviation indicator and the glide slope. Okay, we're getting a bit closer. Should we pull the range down again now? So just coming through Narak.
EVA089er, contact Bordeaux control on 125.79.
So this is saying we have to be above 8,000 feet.
Control 125.79.
It's actually predicting we'll be at 12,700 feet on the way through FUSAP. The thing we're most concerned about is to get to 3,000 feet on the final turn-in, which is just here. So if we want to see that in detail, we can go into plan mode and set this to an appropriate distance and skip through the route. He says famous last words. There we go. So if we bring the range back down, there's that final turn, look, 8,000 feet, 5,000 feet, drop to 230 knots, 4,000 feet, 3,000 feet, pick the ILS up. So let's put this back on arc mode and turn the range back up. And we're starting to see that run in. And we're about to come through where this is going to start descending more steeply. Here comes the green dot.
Descend altitude 5,000, QNH 1017.
Descending 5,000 feet, QNH 1017, virtual 073. So we have to remember that 1017, it's changed slightly, hasn't it? It was 1019 earlier. So it's changed a little bit, not too much, just a couple of millibars. So yeah, I can see gear down and locked in the live stream channel is saying about the distance calculations. There's a basic rule with big airliners of 3 to 1. 1,000 feet takes 3 miles in a typical glide. So you can work that up, obviously. So to descend 30,000 feet takes 90 miles. Okay. So you can see it's managing at the moment. So we keep an eye on this dot. If this starts to get above us,
contact Bordeaux control on 125.79.
sorry, if this starts to get below us, then we start to use the spoilers.
125.79, DFL 361, bye-bye.
So in other words, if we can't keep up with the dot, we need the spoilers. And it will usually tell us up
runway
here.
6 left into Barcelona via BLA to Echo, descent within 20 minutes. Speed approach nada.
So it's worth
Virtual
having a little
073, contact Blagnac approach on 121.105.
Contacting Blagnac approach 121.105, virtual 073 heavy. What's the name of the approach? It's always nice to tell them what approach you're doing. Nara 8 November. Blagnac approach, virtual 073 with you descending on the Nara 8 November approach into runway 32 left.
Virtual 73 heavy, Blagnac approach identified. Good morning, cleared Fuzap transition. Expect the ILS Zulu runway 32 left approach into Blagnac.
Expecting ILS 32 left into Blagnac, virtual 073 heavy. Okay. It's all just about letting people know what you're intending to do. It's not really complicated at all. Okay, so we can see getting a bit closer to the city. We're still on track with the dot. The auto throttle is keeping track of the throttle for us. As we come through 10,000 feet, we'll have to slow down to 250 knots, and the landing lights will come on as well. So ADIRS SWTG, oh, I've got to press that by accident. There we go. Easily done when you're trying to roll the mouse wheel and not hit anything in the cockpit with it. So you can see it's decelerating, so we can help it do that.
Speedbird 0909, proceed direct Charlie Foxtrot 32 Romeo. Descend altitude 3000 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 32 right approach.
Proceed direct Charlie Fox 32 Romeo. Descend to altitude 3000 feet until established on the localizer. Cleared for runway ILS 32 right approach. Speedbird 0909.
So notice while we were decelerating, we've been left behind by the descent profile, so I've thrown the spoilers out. You can't see it here, but oh, you can see it here, look. Thrown the spoilers out, which is helping us descend. So we're able to descend at a greater rate, basically. So if we have a look here, we can go flaps 1 at 263 knots. So we can do it now, which will essentially allow us to crow brake. So coming down to 10,000 feet now, let's go and put the landing lights on. And that's lighting up the mist in front of us, as you can see. And we've caught back up with the descent profile, so we'll take the spoilers off, otherwise we're just burning fuel.
I'll make sure the crew checks that everyone is seated and has their seatbelts fastened. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now on our final approach into Toulouse. Please turn off your electronic devices and stow them until we arrive at the gate. Kindly put your tray tables away and ensure your seats are in their full upright position. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened. Our assigned gate is Ziegler Overflow 164. Thank you for your cooperation.
Of course, we don't actually have any passengers, so that makes no sense at all, but there we go. So, because we've got VNAV switched on, or we're doing managed altitude, it's going to follow the constraints and the speed constraints on the auto throttle for us all the way. So we don't have to actually worry about any of this until we get around that last corner. And when we get around that last corner, that's when I will take over and turn the autopilot off. Because what's the fun in letting a computer land it when you can? if we scoot ourselves across the cockpit, got to remember how to do it. Can we see the runway? It's not obvious, is it? So the speeds should be coming down. 230 knots. And then down to 210. And then obviously we drop it right down to about 170, 160. So yeah, here we go, look. Speeds are dropping off to hit 230. We've already got the flaps out, which is helping us slow down quickly. And you can see the step descent through the waypoints. So weather radar at low altitudes will be inoperative anyway. To stop yourself from irradiating anybody. Always good fun landing at night, isn't it? So let's bring the range down to 10 miles on the navigation display. Let's bring the co-pilot display down as well. Straighten the view up. You have to kind of calibrate head trackers, otherwise they can play silly games with you. So, at what speed can we go to flaps 2? 220 knots. Not yet. So we have just come down to 5,000 feet, so we need to go to
Skyhawk 3 Alpha Zulu, contact Blagnac Tower on 118.1 crossing, Charlie Foxtrot 32 Lima.
1019.
118.1 Skyhawk Zulu.
Firefly 5885, contact Bordeaux Control on 133.78.
So we're falling behind the descent profile.
On 133.78 for Firefly 5885, bye-bye.
So I'm throwing spoilers out to get us down to the target airspeed in a timely manner.
Departure, Foxtrot, Zulu Sierra Golf, Quebec 2000 for 4000.
Foxtrot, Zulu Sierra Golf, Quebec, radar contact. Climb and maintain 4000.
So flaps 3 speed is 190 something knots. So a little bit, you can see there's a red marker there on the indicated airspeed ribbon.
Virtua 73 Heavy, Blagnac approach, descend altitude 3000, cleared for the ILS runway 32 left approach via fuse up.
Descend altitude 3000, cleared for the ILS 32 left approach via FISAP. Virtual 073 Heavy.
Virtua 73 Heavy, Blagnac approach, contact Blagnac Tower on 118.1 at Charlie Foxtrot 32 Lima.
2,500.
Contacting on Blagnac Tower 118.1 at Charlie Foxtrot 32 Lima. Virtual 073 Heavy. So we're about to make our final turn. We have to get the gear down before we can go to final flap setting. So we're making the turn in towards the runway. Let's let you see this happening. Gear is down. And we should be able to put a landing system on and see there's the glide slope has already appeared. Localizer, we're already on the centre line. We've got quite a long run in.
Air France
There's the runway directly in front of us.
Bravo, contact Blagnac Tower on 118.1.
We're on 118.1, Air France 53 Charlie Bravo.
So go flaps 4. Here comes the glide slope. So if we were to go, just to show you this, I'm going to switch it off, but we turn on approach mode and then we can go. You can see here it says land 3 single. You can engage both autopilots.
Virtual 073, contact Blagnac Tower on 118.1.
Contacting Blagnac Tower 118.1 Virtual 073 Heavy. Blagnac Tower, Virtual 073 Heavy with you. Engaged on the localizer for runway 32 left. There's the runway directly in front of us.
Virtual 73 Heavy, Blagnac Tower identified. Virtual 73 Heavy, Blagnac Tower, winds 190 at 4. Runway 32 left, cleared to land.
Cleared to land, runway 32 left, Virtual 073 Heavy. So you can see the ECAM screen is lit up with the things we need to do. So we're just going to go and pull that lever up and that will all go green now. So what I'm going to do, this has started to drift on the head tracking unfortunately. I'm going to turn the autopilots off. This is me now. So I'm giving the wings a wiggle. So we keep an eye on these diamonds and we keep them as close to the middle as we can. And we get to admire the scenery on the way in.
Foxtrot Zulu X-ray X-ray Victor holding short of 32 right, ready for takeoff.
Foxtrot Zulu X-ray X-ray Victor, winds 180 at 4, runway 32 right, cleared for takeoff. Safe travels.
Cleared for takeoff, 32 right, Foxtrot Zulu X-ray X-ray Victor.
It's a lovely calm evening, and with a 300-ton aeroplane, it doesn't tend to get blown around. So you can see there's 9 knots of headwind blowing into our face. Going a bit high, so we just dip the nose, let the diamond come back towards us. So hands on the throttle, ready to react.
3501, contact departure on 121.105.
121.105, Viva 3501.
Departure on 121.105. Speedbird 135. Correction, 3501 heavy.
We may start to get to see some headlights of cars on the roads when we get a bit lower. I thought we might have seen them already actually, but there you go.
1000.
We're drifting slightly to the left, so I'm just correcting for that. So the PAPI lights agree with the ILS.
Foxtrot Zulu X-ray X-ray Victor, contact departure, got that.
Switching to departure, Foxtrot Zulu X-ray X-ray Victor.
Foxtrot Hotel Hotel Uniform Lima ready to go, straight out. Foxtrot Hotel Hotel Uniform Lima, winds 180 at 4, runway 32 right, cleared for takeoff.
So basically when we get low over the runway we pull the engines back
right,
to idle.
Cleared for takeoff. Foxtrot Hotel Hotel Uniform Lima.
And then we just flare it out as it falls towards the runway.
400. 100 above. 100 above. 100 above. Minimum.
So minimum is basically if you can't see the runway, then you're not going to do it.
$50, $40.
So throttle, throttle.
20, 10, 5.
Clear drifting left. Yeah, that wasn't great. I always forget how high this thing is, and it started to drift left. The winds suddenly swung round when we got low. It swung back again. Don't know if you noticed that. We suddenly had 5 or 6 knots of, side wind, and I wasn't quite quick enough to catch it. So we'll roll along. Go for the next taxiway.
Virtual 073, contact ground on 121.9er.
Contacting ground 121.9er, virtual 073 heavy. So yeah, it wasn't the best landing ever, but we're down in one piece. Would have been nicer to have been on the centre line and to have anticipated that sudden gust across the runway.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Toulouse. We hope you enjoyed your flight with us. Did you know that Toulouse is known as the Pink City because of its terracotta buildings? It's also the home of the famous Airbus factory, where many of the world's largest aircraft are built.
That's where we're going.
Thank you for flying with us today. Please remain seated until we reach our final parking position. On behalf of Captain Jonathan, First Officer Amanda, and the entire crew, we wish you a pleasant stay in this beautiful city. The local time here is 2:30 in the morning. If you have a connection, please listen carefully. Flight number AI...
ground virtual 073, requesting taxi to parking.
Flight number FR 856 to Dublin, departs at 6:45 from gate 25.
Virtual 073, taxi to Ziegler overflow gate 164 via Sierra 8, Whiskey 60, Sierra 60, Yankee 60. Good day.
Taxi via Sierra 8, Whiskey 60, Sierra 60, Yankee 60, virtual 073 heavy. So let's have a look at this. Sierra, Whiskey, Sierra, Yankee. Whiskey, Sierra, Yankee. So it's round there, but we've got to do a U-shape to get to it. It's here. We have to go down there, turn around and come back. Okay, so first things first then. Landing lights off. Taxi sign lights on. And here we go. Yeah, I misjudged the landing a little bit. I always forget how tall this thing is. It's not until you see it near other aeroplanes you realise just how big it is.
Papa November Unité 005, request pushback and engine start, please.
Skyhawk 3 Alpha Zulu, pushback and engine start approved. Face southeast.
So the strobes were on auto, weren't they? We've left them on. They should come off as soon as you're off the runways, really. I'm guessing we can park anywhere here. This is only a stock airport, so it hasn't got any proper signage on the ground. So we can pretty much pick our spot. We're supposed to be here, I think. How do I find the built-in ATC? I haven't used it for a very, very long time. Something you might consider, there are groups around that fly with real people doing the ATC, one of which is MyAir. So although you can't have add-ons like Say Intentions, you can sit in a Discord voice channel and talk. Obviously they won't be able to see you on a map, but there's ways around that. You can just, you can report your location. Okay, parking brake is on. So let's go and connect the external power to the aeroplane. We'll go and connect it up here.
For super request progressive taxi.
And then we can shut the engines down.
Thank you very much, Lufthansa 574 Super.
And then we can go around turning things off.
Lufthansa 574, you're welcome.
So taxi light can go off, nav lights off, beacon light off, seatbelt signs go to off, emergency lights off, cruise supply off, all the fuel pump, or fuel boost pumps I should say, back to off. Look how many boost pumps it has along its wings. It's mad. Turn the ADIRs back off, and we're pretty much there. So obviously we could go completely cold and dark from here, but that's enough for us to be able to go file the flight plan in ACARS. So we're going to pull ACARS back up, and we can say end flight, because we've turned the engines off, so this has appeared. And we can put notes in if we wish to, or we could just say file flight. And it's filing the PIRAP back into the airport, it's done it. So we can close ACARS down, and we can go back over to the internet, go to airline.virtualflight.online, and we can go and see how we did. So in my own pilot thing, we can see we went from Gatwick to Toulouse, and we can open up the flight plan. So there's the route we took. There's the numbers. Obviously we actually covered, we did carry passengers, which is bizarre, even though we did a technical test. So we can look, we got, 98%. I knew I'd been done on the speed on climb out, remember? So that took the 2% off the 100% mark. So you can go in here, you can see your, your profile during the flight. You can see all the PIRAP fields, so you can see here the landing rate as well, somewhere 400 feet a minute. I told you we walloped the ground a little bit, didn't I? But not, nothing too drastic. And you get lots and lots of data about the flight, and there's obviously the log from ACARS about everything we did along the way. So there you go. That is VirtualFlight.Online. So obviously that was just a test flight from
Foxtrot, Papa, Romeo Sierra, Hotel, runway 32, right taxi, via Tango 21, Papa 20, Papa 10,
the real trick for those that want to have a play with this, if you're flying on a console by the way, you can still use this.
Runway 32, right taxi via Tango 21, Papa 20, Papa 10, November 1,
detune the radio.
Papa Romeo Sierra Hotel.
So if you're flying on a console, you can still do this. So you can go into the tours, for example, and you could go and fly some of these tours. When you've completed your flight, rather than using ACARS, all you do is you go into the reports page and you do a manual PIRAP. Okay, and you just fill, as long as you fill these bits out appropriately, the flight number, the code, and the leg. Because if you look at the tours, they have a code and a leg, and then the flight number is inside the tour. So you'd have TAF, and then the leg number, yeah? Obviously you can go, and there's nothing to stop you coming in here and planning it out. You're just going to do a manual PIRAP instead of a an ACARS one at the end, okay? So you can go and file all this in, and it will give you your data, so you can go and generate your Simbrief OFP the same as anybody else. It's just that you will finish your flight by doing a manual PIRAP. So you can see one there, look. So if you click that manual PIRAP while you're in here, it will be pre-filled out with the right things. So that lets console users use the same system. Okay, so there we go. As you can see, the newest pilots, we're now up to 1,600 pilots in the. Oh, hello. So we got some idiots typing rubbish in, which is super helpful. I'll have to go and have a tidy up later. But there you go. We've got 1,600-ish pilots once I've cleaned the rubbish out. You can't have nice things on the internet, can you? People ruin everything eventually. You see there's some people flying around. We can go and see where they're going as well. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you enjoyed that this evening, and I'll see you all again soon. So that was VirtualFlight.Online we were looking at tonight with using ACARS. But obviously, as I've said, if you're on a console, you don't absolutely need ACARS. You can do a manual pilot report. Okay, I'm going to shut down for the evening and go to bed. See you soon. Take care.